Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning back in. Now we are with Lauren Carter, the Deputy Clerk for the City of Mount Vernon. We needed to talk to her, needed to talk with Mr. Brown, because we're trying to get the full story so you guys can make or formulate your opinion. Thank you, Laura. Thank you. Thank you. Laura, there's a lot of things going on. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you heard it. But there is a lot of stories floating around, and we need to know exactly what is going on. Were you fired? Did you resign? Were you terminated? Firing and terminated to me equals the same.
Yes.
Tell us how it happened. Where did it happen? Did you expect it? Tell us anything about it.
Sure, absolutely. Well,
Speak a little louder so with the microphone.
Yes, sure, absolutely. On Tuesday, January 28th, last Tuesday, I was called into George's office by the Councilman Griffith. When I walked into George's office, Councilman Griffith was sitting there, our HR commissioner, and George, City Clerk George Brown. And Councilman Griffith went to tell me that there were changes and transitions occurring as I knew. And he said something about there not being a right fit in the office, or the office not working, the office of the city clerk, that is, and said that today would be my last day. So I asked if this was a majority vote of the city council, and I said absolutely it was. And later on in the conversation, the HR commissioner stated that no one was aware about this decision except for the city council and the mayor. And I went on to, say to her, well,
by city council, singular, and the mayor, Mr. Griffin and the mayor, because the other ones did not know about this.
Well,
am I correct?
I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Actually, let me just back up and say that Councilman Griffith was in the office. The other council members were not there. He was the only one. Okay. And I asked if this was a majority vote. There are 5 members of the city council, right? So a majority would be 3 or more. Supermajority would be 4. Unanimous decision would be 5, all 5. He told me yes, there was a majority vote. And the commissioner of HR said to me later on during our conversation that no one knew except for the council, city council, and the mayor. Well, after they left, I did call a council person, Councilwoman Delia Farquharson, while I was still in George's office. And I told her what happened. And she was surprised, she was shocked. She said, I know nothing about this, no one spoke to me about it. So she came to the building and she called 2 other council people, and they told her that they were also not aware and that they didn't agree with the decision at this time.
That makes 3.
That makes 3, which makes a majority. Absolutely. 1 + 2 equals 3, right? So I'm just trying to make it clear for everyone. That's why I said before, a majority would be 3, supermajority would be 4, unanimous decision would be 5. And at that point, I'm thinking to myself, well, this doesn't sound like a majority in my opinion. Now, when I did read my letter that Councilman Griffith left in front of me, the termination letter was signed by Council President Lisa Copeland. So I had Councilman Griffith inform me that Tuesday, January 28th was my last day, but the letter was signed by the Council President. And from there, there was some confusion. So after Councilwoman Farquharson spoke with the other 2 council members, she spoke to the Commissioner of HR. And she informed me that the Commissioner of HR told her that this was the decision of the mayor and the council president. And Councilwoman Farquharson explained to her that this is a decision solely...
But that's not how it works.
Absolutely, that's correct.
So someone is violating the protocol or the charter of how things are supposed to work.
It appears to be that way. It appears to be that way, Mr. Ross.
it appears.
Well,
So Mr. Griffith came and said that this was a vote of the majority. Then you spoke with the councilwoman who said that she did not know anything about it.
correct.
She called 2 additional council people
Yes,
who said that they had no idea about this. So now we have 3.
that's correct.
We have 5.
Yes,
So if 3 don't have an idea about it, that means it was not a majority.
yes.
So means somebody lied.
Yes, yes. Someone is not telling the truth. Someone is lying.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm sorry. I don't want to use the word lie. Someone is not telling the truth.
correct.
Why? How long you been working here?
Well, I've been working for the city of Mount Vernon for about 17 and a half years,
17 and a half years.
and I've been the deputy clerk for almost 9.
You've been doing a good job.
I believe I have been.
Well, if you hadn't, you'd be been fired a long time ago,
I believe so, yes.
right?
Yes,
It's just a regular assumption.
yes,
If you don't do a good job, you get fired.
Yes.
So for 17 years, you've been doing a great job.
yes.
All of a sudden, we have a new mayor, and what you're doing, it really doesn't go well with your job, with the way you're supposed to do.
All of a sudden, I was told that the office wasn't working. Or
Exactly.
There was not a good fit or something like that.
Did you
Yes.
ask what do you mean by not a good fit?
Well,
Definition?
I did. My question to Councilman Griffith was, well, as you know, I said to him, we don't have employee evaluations in the city. I said, however, I have never been sat down by anyone to discuss what doesn't fit or what's not working or what any issues or problems are. I've never been asked to sit down with anyone about
Maybe
that.
you take too much time off. Do you call sick a lot?
No, I don't. No, I don't. In fact, I will say that I have the best record in the office. I have the most sick time and the most vacation time, other than Mr. Brown and I have the most vacation time, but I have the most sick time, and he's. I mean, no, I hardly take off. I'm hardly off.
So, Mr. Griffith,
In fact, if I may just say this, in fact, we can only carry over a certain number of vacation days into the new year. Mr. Brown and I were, the last 6 weeks of the year, we had to coordinate who was going to be off what days, because we had to take a certain number of vacation days so that we didn't forfeit them coming into 2020. So that shows that we don't really take off.
so Mr. Griffith knew about it. Council President Lisa Copeland knew about it.
If she signed the letter, yes.
She signed the letter.
Yes, or yes, we have to say
And
that she knew.
there is
Yes.
suspicions that the mayor knew about it.
Each time the Commissioner of HR has been asked, she has invoked the mayor's name or the title of the mayor. Yes.
So we should say thank you for such a great transparency in the new administration. Because it seems like a lot of things that are going on, things that maybe shouldn't be going on, they say one thing, it's something else.
Yes.
Now, why do you think this happened, Lori? I asked the same question from the county clerk. Is it retaliation for something? Or are they opening a job for someone? Because, there is always political payoffs, political favors. If I take office, you get this. If you do this, sometimes not necessarily for the person who did the favor, maybe for a sister, a brother, a cousin.
Yes.
Could that be the case here? What do you think?
Well, I will say that I believe in my case it's political retaliation.
Why? What did you do that they want to retaliate about, against you?
Well, I supported Andre Wallace when he ran for mayor. So, yeah.
So you think that's what it is?
Yes.
You supported the wrong person. I won. He lost. Now elections have consequences, and the consequences in this case is retaliation. You fired.
Yes. Now, whether there are other reasons, that remains to be seen. I do know that there is someone, or I've heard that there's someone that they're considering to fill the position of city clerk, because as you know, City Clerk George Brown is retiring at the end of this month. So
He's really not retiring. He was kind of forced into
Well,
it in a way.
yes, that's correct.
These people that you heard of, do you know if they have any connections whatsoever with the council president or the mayor's office or the mayor?
Well, I don't know if I want to answer that question.
Well, you kind of did already without answering it.
Okay.
So you think so or you don't?
Well, I do know that there is some connection. I will say that. I mean, I won't go as far as that, but I will say, Mount Vernon is not that.
It's not that big.
Not that big of a town. So I think that the saying is that there's 6 degrees of separation, right? In Mount Vernon, it may be 3. So there may be 3 degrees of separation because people know one another or some kind of way. It could be related to the person or could have married into the family. So my point is that people are known in Mount Vernon. So it's.
So, I have to say this. Tons of people are saying, here we go again. We've seen this when Mayor Richard Thomas was here. We've seen this when Mayor Andrew Wallace was here. And now we're seeing this when Mayor Shawyn Patterson is here. And it's not even a good feeling. Let me ask you a question, not as who you are in the capacity of your job, but as a citizen of Mount Vernon. If you're looking from the outside to the inside, would you feel comfortable with what you're seeing?
Absolutely not. I would not.
What's your message for the mayor or for Lisa?
Well, I really don't have a message for the mayor at this point because the mayor doesn't make a decision or should not make a decision
Don't make a decision?
The mayor, per our city charter, and I apologize, I wanted to add to something that you said earlier. Per our city charter, section 34, I believe it's 34, that the city clerk and the deputy city clerk are appointed by the city council. So the mayor has no decision-making authority in who was appointed as clerk or deputy clerk or who is terminated as clerk or deputy clerk.
The thing is that she knew about it. She should not have known about it.
According to the HR commissioner, every time someone spoke to her, whether it was me or Councilwoman Farquharson, she invoked the mayor's name. The mayor was aware. So, I mean, the city council, they voted to appoint me as the deputy city clerk. It was on the record at a public meeting that was noticed. If they want to, any other decisions would have to be the same way.
I see, or at least it looks like, there is a very strong affiliation. At least that's the optical illusion that is being created out there between Lisa Copeland and the current mayor. What you just said is one. Mayor knew something that she shouldn't have any involvement in, correct?
Yes, according to, the HR commissioner said that she was aware, as well as the council, and Councilwoman Farquharson stated that the HR commissioner told her it was a decision of the mayor and the council president.
Who is the HR commissioner? What's his name?
Her name is Holly Francis Merritt. It's public information.
Yeah. I could find out easily.
Yes.
But since we're here sitting, what's her name? Francis?
Holly Francis Merritt.
Well, is there anything else that I should have, that I should ask you that I forgot? Is there anything that you'd like to tell our audience? Is there any record that you want to set straight? Do you feel like it was fair because you supported Mayor Andrew Wallace that now this retaliation is taking place?
Well, it's beyond unfair. I mean, it's way beyond being unfair. I'll keep it at that. It's way beyond being unfair. And, for your viewers, I still report to work because I believe that there was no majority vote to remove me, to terminate me. I still report to work, and the controller has not received a resolution signed by the city council that they have terminated me, and no paperwork that I've been terminated. So I still report to work.
So she's honoring the charter. For you to be terminated, you must have majority votes to terminate you.
There should be a majority vote, and then the normal policy paperwork that we process here in the city. Yeah, so
And
she has not received that. So I am still an employee of the city, as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, I've been locked out of my computer account, but I try to do what I can. And
So your computer account, maybe Lisa ordered the IT department to block your. Normally that's the way it is.
I don't know who ordered it.
But it's been ordered. You don't have access to your files.
That's correct.
So now you sit there, but you do nothing?
No, I didn't say I didn't do anything.
No, I'm asking.
I do what I can, and there are certain, sometimes I go to Mr. Brown's computer, and sometimes there are office, staff members in the office that will allow me to do certain things, minimal things at their office, at their computer.
Thank you. On that note, we're going to conclude our interview. You heard from Laura Carter what's going on. You heard about the situation, and you heard, according to her, the unfairness of how she's being treated. So thank you for watching. Please post your comments below, engage, and guys, I hear there is some slandering that people are paying me for this. If anyone who claimed that we should look for facts can prove that that is true, I will post it. Show me a check, show me a cash. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moss.
Thank you. Stay tuned.